celebrate our nation's birthday this week, we're taking a step back to one of the most prolific sex and murder scandals to rock the nation's capital.
A lot of people might not be familiar with this. It happened 2 years before the Civil War, when a murder unfolded in Lafayette Square, near where the White House is. The case and the trial would change America forever. It's the focus of a new book, Spangled Scandal.
This morning, Mike Thomas is live in Lafayette Square, getting the scoop. Mike, good morning.
Allison, good morning. This is an absolutely fascinating. I mean, over the past 24 hours, I've been reading up on this case, and it's one of those things where it almost gets lost in history a bit, but it has big time repercussions on even today and how court cases are handled today. To tell us all about it, the man who has been researching it, this is New York Times bestselling author DeRose. He is the author of the new book, and I want to make sure I get the title right: Spangled Scandal, Sex, Murder, and the Trial That Changed America. Chris, listen, let's talk all about it. So set the stage. It was a Sunday in 1859. What happened?
So Daniel Sickles is a congressman from New York City. He lives on the west side of Lafayette Square. Mm-hmm. He finds out that his wife has been having an affair with the U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., Philip Barton Key, who's also the son of Francis Scott Key. And so he sees Key out in Lafayette Square trying to signal his wife to go to the meeting point. And Key has no idea what's going on inside the Sickles house. He doesn't know that Sickles knows about the affair. He doesn't know that Sickles is freaking out and trying to figure out what to do. Mm-hmm. As Key is milling about in the southeast corner of the square, Congressman Sickles, with a trench coat and loaded for bear with at least 3 guns, shows up and sends him to his fate.
Wow. I mean, that's got every element you would think of, like the epic DC drama that you might think is just a work of fiction, but it's not. I mean, all this stuff actually happened, and it's got repercussions on today. What special sort of defense was used in this case that was a first for its time that continues to echo through history today?
A temporary insanity defense, because people were talking to Sickles before the shooting. They were talking to him after. In fact, he went and turned himself in Franklin Square, the home of the Attorney General. Everyone said he seemed fine. And so to argue insanity, they just say, well, it was temporary insanity, really just long enough for him to walk across this square and kill the U.S. Attorney.
Now, you're a law guy today. Would that, knowing everything you do about the case and all the research you've done, would that work today at any chance?
Well, any case and any defense will work if the jury wants to let the defendant go. And in this case, the jurors felt like Barton had gotten what he deserved and that Sickles should be freed as a result. So it wasn't them buying into 19th century pseudoscience. They actually thought that Sickles had done the right thing.
Wow. I mean, and I heard newspapers at the time were praising his actions, correct?
Some were condemning him. Just like at every dinner table in America, people were debating over this case and everyone had an opinion about it.
And was this a media frenzy, or one of the first media frenzies in terms of the trial itself?
Yeah, it was the most covered event in human history up to that point. So you had the telegraph running at full speed, transmitting thousands of words all over the country, and it was the first case that we all followed at the same time as Americans, the first scandal.
And now let me ask, because it was a couple of years before the Civil War. I didn't see any connection myself, but is there a connection between that and anything that happened with the Civil War?
Yeah, well, Sickles will go on to be one of the most prominent generals in the American Civil War and make one of the most disputed decisions on day 2 at the Battle of Gettysburg. And so before he can get there, he has to survive this trial and this media firestorm over his actions.
Chris, this is a fascinating story. So much history. So many people just come down to take pictures of the White House and might not realize what transpired right here. Chris, thank you so much. Congratulations on the new book. One more time, that book.
Spangled Scandal.
All right. Check it out. In stores now?
In stores now.
In stores now. Go pick it up, everybody. Incredible story. All right, Steve Allison, I'll send it back inside to you.
I love a good old mystery.
And I love the history in D.C.
Thanks so much. Well, before we go to break, let's give you